morning, everybody. Thank you to IIT Madras Research Park for inviting me consecutively for the third edition as well. So this is my third trip that I am here. And coincidentally, it kind of happens to be around the same date, Narsi. So thanks again for that. So I think I will be good to plan for my fourth year in book in advance. Okay, having said that, Narsi was gracious enough to refer a few things in his opening remark. And I think one of the factors that we have been working in the biomass, bioenergy sector for the last 15 years is to be consistently there and not back off. And by that I mean, believe in the transition to happen because it's going to take time. Have faith in what each one of us is set out to do in our sphere. And more importantly, with each day, try and get more people involved so that it finds good merit for implementation at the larger scales. And I think that's been a journey which I would like to talk about in the next 20 minutes that I have been allotted. Four things which Honorable Prime Minister said. There's an adage of Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, and very recently he added to it Jai Anushandhan. And as a translation, Jai Jawan talks about the defense forces. So most of us in this company, Prespel, are from the defense forces. The Jai Kisan part, I think we are all cognizant about that it is one of the paramount factors to be inclusive for bioenergy. The Jai Vigyan is the science around using this carbon which is available in bioenergy. And the Jai Anushandhan is where institutions like IIT Madras bring the R&D, bring the inclusion of all the first three elements, to bring future technologies available for implementation at large scale in the field. And I think that's where we are always participative to learn and, to try and go to the next phase. So this is a journey snapshot of ours, where we are today. And if you see, while we have transitioned from a biomass supply chain management company working with farmers to an asset ownership company today delivering energy in clean, green, bioenergy, renewable form, and also, more importantly, in this journey as a forward transition, continuing to innovate on models of technology, finance, integration, scaling it up. And then the bottom part of the slide kind of gives you a flavor of how we have been able to get the finance around doing this, work happening. For us, it continues to be learning on the job because we, most of us in the company do not come from a business background. We do not come from a finance background, but we come from a background of understanding, assimilation, and on-ground implementation. And if these factors are something which we can take to scale, it interests us. Now, in the journey, in the transition, we have kept learning and innovatively kept adding products to deliver for industry. So one of our segments is a consulting team. We have a strong climate consulting team which works with large corporates to be able to build for them renewable solutions using biomass, bioenergy. Then, in that journey, we aggregate biomass, which is the key factor, and my previous speaker spoke about storage. Previous to that, Professor Satya spoke about C&I clients, industry. He spoke about the steam, 80 gigawatt kind of a number. I'll allude to those in the presentation because it resonates. So storage, and fantastic, we're bringing technology to storage. The simplest storage solution is photosynthesis. Nature is doing it for us. Farmer grows the crop. You're storing carbon dioxide. You're storing sun's energy. And it is available after each crop harvest because the grain is food that we want, but the balance of the crop is stored carbon and stored energy which is available. So why do we want to spend billions of dollars into storage? And I don't mean don't do that, Rahul, please do that. But what is already available, let us use it first. So the KISS philosophy of life, keep it sweet and simple, is lost in trying to complicate things. So we have 1,500 million metric tons of farm agri residue available in India. And now we are saying, let's innovate to do carbon capture, storage, utilization. 1,500 million metric tons with data of per square kilometer, how much of carbon is sequestered is available. Make the farmer inclusive and let's start using this energy. And technology at scale to use this energy is proven, is available. So what's missing? Direction. What's missing? Regulation. What's missing? Understanding that this can be taken to so many hundreds of, joules of energy, gigawatts of energy, and bringing those costs down. So that's where, again, Nancy mentioned the 15 years of, continuously going to regulators, going to policymakers, going to bureaucrats, going to politicians, ministers, and talking about this has actually galvanized the movement of bioenergy in India. Today, India is the leader to sign under its G20 presidency, the Global Biofuel Alliance. And that means, besides doing it in India, we are also saying we will show the world how it is to be done, and we will lead the world for how it is to be done. So the bioenergy movement in India is there to stay. Now, how to scale it up further? How you can have hundreds and thousands of press pulse to happen and come. And, finance is one play around it. So we have a pan-India footprint. We are in 18 states today. We have a very strong board represented by investor shareholders and, our management. Coincidentally, Mr. Shashi Shekhar here, ex-Secretary, Water Government of India, is from Tamil Nadu cadre. So, he kind of supports us. He's an independent director on our board. What you see here, as I mentioned, the Jai Jawan factor, all of us uniquely ex-defense forces, leading various segments of our business. So supply chain management, we do all EPC of our projects in-house for ourselves and our clients. So EPC and EPC management, construction, operations and maintenance. So these are functions which are led by, defense, ex-defense people. What is the model? And I talked about, keep it sweet and simple. The farmer, the mainstay. And the farmer we call as the village level entrepreneur. So what are we doing? We are getting entrepreneurship mindset to be inculcated in the farmer and allow them to work in their fields post-harvest where this carbon captured, sequestered CO2 is available, bring it out and deposit it in hub and spoke model, decentralized collection centers, warehousing, which we establish. So we empower the farmer by making him a village level entrepreneur. We do some kind of an agreement in a local language wherever we are. Empower them with post-harvest farming equipment, training, finance, and then we supervise their working because they work in the fields. And once they start working in the fields and every end of each day, they come back and they deliver this farm agri residue to that depot or collection center, they get paid through the banking channel. And it's a great feeling to get a SMS in the evening of a credit in your bank account. And the farmers are not used to getting this kind of money coming. And once this cycle begins, more and more farmers join, more and more VLEs join, and that's where you now have a product. You have commoditized a farm agri residue product. But we also concurrently need to work on the demand side because this product needs to get consumed and used, and that's the use case we'll talk about. So the hub and spoke model that I spoke about, and where we are presently taking it or where we are presently monetizing it is in the calorific value or the heat value. The burn value to replace this carbon with fossil fuel, coal, furnace oil, LDO, diesel. And that's working fantastically well without any government intervention and government subsidy. on a C&I client basis. So scope 1, decarbonization of industry. But what we want to go towards, and we feel the industry will move towards, is the carbon molecule side. So we will go towards the molecular chemistry where more value is there for that carbon. Now just look at the client base. And why I put this out is, this will give you a flavor of how across sectors, industries are moving to decarbonization, moving to cleaner fuels, and with due caution I say, cheaper fuels. And why this is happening is because it is economically cheaper rather than only the carbon value. Yes, that is a much added advantage. Cement sector, hard to abate. We are a company which has signed up MOUs with all cement majors to start working for the AFR fuels from farm agri residue. So how do we build it up? We go to rural areas, engage with farmer communities, and these are all, photographs of what we do. And look at this gentleman here, based out of Haveri in Karnataka. In 12 months that he has been associated with Prespel, he bought a second-hand car and 2 new tractors. And I am told now that he has bought more equipment as well. It's been about 18 months now. And that's the value that you can give back in terms of cash into a farmer's bank account on a daily basis and give them work. We invest in equipment. Now, we don't manufacture equipment, but we curate and go to manufacturers to get equipment available to build this ecosystem of a hub and spoke supply chain management. Look at this trolley. Low tech, but having a hydraulic booster so that you can unload fast. Look at this trolley. Not available with farmers. Manufactured low flatbed so that 45 to 55 horsepower tractor which is available with the farmer can pull it out of fields for a couple of kilometers as the first hub and spoke mile work of transportation. And the transportation vis-a-vis a conventional trolley which is 2 tons per transportation trip has now moved to 12 to 14 tons per transportation trip. So what has happened? The energy efficiency that we want in the system to come, and there's a term which is energy ROI. And what does energy ROI mean? It's a globally published term. It means the amount of energy expended in barrels of crude equivalent for amount of energy available to consumer. The energy ROI number published few years back was 1:6. So 1 barrel of crude equivalent is consumed for 6 barrels of crude equivalent of product to reach us. This number has now gone to 2:5 because the oil wells have gone deeper. We have already taken it out. The coal mines are going deeper. The gas finds are going deeper. And thereby, moving in the future, our energy ROI is likely to shift to 2.5:4.5 and 3:4. And that means for the energy that we are going to use, we are going to be highly inefficient to move that energy. And now, in the hub and spoke model, the energy ROI of this model continues to remain in a 50 kilometer. You're not going to move beyond that. Yes, in the footprint, we are still using diesel. And now we are moving away to convert this same resource to compressed biogas so that these tractors can also be converted with a kit to CBG kit, and thus the footprint also of the scope 2, scope 3 would get reduced so that the entire process becomes net carbon neutral. Biomass across India. So any time of farm agri residue can be used, yes, for the values that it has. This is how we store. Now, much more is required on storage. We need to actually go into proper warehousing because the product is becoming a commodity, and the moment it becomes a commodity, it has a value, and thus you need to preserve value. So we are working with government also now to bring storage solutions, warehousing solutions like the FCIs of the world for commodity which is farm agri residue. And once we start doing that, now is a tokenization of a commodity which you can play around with because it has value, commercial value. So we need to provide this energy 24/7, 365 days. There cannot be a break. You're competing with global supply chains which have got established over decades and hundreds of years for coal, for crude, for gas. How do you give the comfort to a client, a user who wants energy 24/7 at determined costs? And that's where you need to start doing supply chain management, storage of this energy, building it up on use case basis, which we do. Now, look at this process. Global tenders by oil marketing companies. And each of them, because of the developmental process, gets cancelled. Price points are yet not understood, and that work is happening. Ultimately, for any technology, any process, we will need to build it bottom up. What is going to be the commodity price? What is going to be the conversion price? And ultimately, what is going to be the product price of replacement that the consumer is willing to accept? And these are challenges we are still working with. Now we densify as well. So we convert all forms of residue, cotton, mustard, green waste, corn cob, and this green waste is the city waste available across Goa into briquettes. And once we have commoditized this and made briquettes, now better storage, better transportation. Hence, we are able to now move out of our 50-60 kilometer radius with raw biomass and go to about 250 to 300 kilometers and supply this energy, still competing with fossil fuel for conversion costs. So you see briquettes stored, again, we are going into warehousing structures. Now, where do we take it? And, Professor Satya mentioned about industrial steam. That's exactly what we do. So we take it, so these are build on operate assets, these are O&M assets which we operate, where we use such farm agri residue to produce on-site industrial steam in boilers, and we have moved away the fossil fuel boilers from these industries. Look at the graph of how it is growing and how we see it to be growing. So the 80 gigawatt energy requirement on steam is factual. A fallacy that these boilers are not good, or biomass is going to be voluminous, etc., etc. No, these are actually how the boilers are. Spick and span. You go to a boiler because these are high technology intensive boilers, fail-safe boilers, multiple redundancies in it. These boilers are actually operated by 2 people sitting at the plant in a shift. You will go to the boiler, you will not find a single person. It's a huge boiler, and you will try and see who's operating it. Is it running also? Because we charge it once in a day in terms of the biomass. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes. And thereafter, it is seamlessly running 24/7, 365 days. That's the kind of technology which is available. We also map the carbon. So the ash which is coming out when in the entire carbon flow, the balance of it is getting made into paver blocks, and we are taking it to, so the entire carbon cycle mapping is done. I think we are learning and we're still growing in this. EHSG has become one of the prominent factors to deliver. Compliances, training, safety, fail-safe mechanisms of working. And I think that's what we continue to keep doing. So, that's our army way of working. You sweat more in peace and you bleed less in war. So you continuously keep training. So these are the assets, some photographs for you all to see. Now, since we are building all these projects on our own, we are trying to work so that how can we reduce the cost of this energy for our clients? How can we bring innovative financing here to bring the cost down to compete with that fossil fuel? And I think that's where I will talk about some financing structures which we have been able to deliver. Now, what is it that we have been able to deliver? This entire business is credit guarantee backed. And very recently in the budget also you would have heard about credit guarantee being available for MSME segment. And that is because of our engagement with government where we kept impressing upon this. So what has happened? The supply chain management, banks are unwilling to fund because they do not yet understand the commodity or the pricing or how it is going to hold and what are the markets going to be for it. So you need large working capital requirement in a short window for this farm agri residue. And since banks were unwilling, and in our journey of trying to find out how to make things happen, we found innovative products with developmental financial institutions where impact is delivered. They were willing to finance that with credit guarantees. And we started in a process where 50% credit guarantee was being made available. We were happy with that. But finally, we got 100% credit guarantee for the supply chain management part of the business, which allowed local banks to fund. And that's where the risk of the financial institutions came down. Again, on the energy efficient boiler assets, through World Bank SIDBI, we have got 75% credit guarantee, thereby allowing funding to happen and the risk profile of the projects to come down. Okay, so we built this project, our first one. We went into nationwide lockdown on 24th March 20, COVID, but the project continues to operate till date. Right through COVID we operated because the energy was available in a 40-50 kilometer radius. Our supply chain management teams worked. Sorry, I think, yeah. Okay. Where are we moving towards? So we are a grade 2 plus ESCO company. And that means one of the factors of energy, which is energy efficiency, is getting delivered by using biomass, which is a singular addition to all the other factors that you're going to look at. So even if you look at this project only from an energy efficiency perspective, it is delivering that. Innovation around keep it sweet and simple kind of philosophy. What is it? Eco-cremation. And I'm not too sure if last time I touched upon this, but this is now a project which has been in 2 years that we have implemented, and now this is getting implemented across India. So we are saying, put trees, maa ke naam, put trees as carbon sink, so that we want the carbon to be sequestered and abated. But we are a Hindu society, the largest one in the world, and with every death, we cut down 2 trees. Unsustainable. So when you go to a crematorium, every body which is burning, 2 trees are cut down. And there's no sustainability around it. So what have we done? We have taken these farm agri residue briquettes, replaced the wood from the crematorium. There is an addition which needed to be done, low tech, make and manufacture such a crematorium bed so that these briquettes can be placed in it and replace this wood. And now this is 40% cheaper than the cost of wood which the municipal corporations were sourcing. Second, there is a price of wood which Supreme Court has given, which is 74,500 rupees per year into life of the tree, and thereby rough numbers, 7.5 lakhs per cremation of a national asset is burnt at 4,500 rupees, which we have replaced by saving that national asset of 7.5 lakh rupees with a 3,000 rupee cost. And the proof of what we are doing is in 2 years, starting from November 22, to a 93% number change in entire city of Aurangabad, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar now in Maharashtra, where wood has got replaced from cremation with 100% briquettes. Now by this happening, getting picked up by Prime Minister's office, various departments, etc., this is now started to move across multiple cities in India, and tenders are now out from urban local bodies, municipal corporations for replacement of wood with biomass briquettes, and many people are now participating in this. Again, the development work, conscious of time. So where are we taking this biomass? We are taking this biomass now to the molecular side. 2G, 3G ethanol, compressed biogas, replacement of wood, green hydrogen, biochemicals and biofertilizers, sustainable aviation fuel, combined heat and power plants, biochar as a product, and look at the use of this carbon now on the molecular side. So if you are able to establish supply chain management, like we went downstream forward integrated to do assets, these are the assets now that the investments are going to happen in. There is carbon credit around it. We formed an industry body, so there's Confederation of Biomass Energy Industry of India. People are happy to, join. We deliver as a business itself all the SDGs that we desire to the T. Rural, waste to energy, carbon abatement, replacement of wood, clean fuel, energy efficiency, social inclusion, reverse migration now happening from cities to rural India because industrialization is happening there. Energy in a small hub so that you are producing it there and you're using it there, so on and so forth. Women participate across our business stream based on their competency, and they do fantastic work there. Out of the 17 SDGs, there are 10 which we deliver because of the way the business model is. Fortunately, awarded within India globally multiple times over because of the business model. We are the National Innovation Champion 2019 and so on and so forth. Jayan, thank you. I would like to at least leave a thought with the technology developers here that there is resource which is amply available in India, and we can actually say safely that this biomass residue waste will be the new oil. And if that's the new oil, and like you have behemoths of ONGCs of the world on the upstream side, and then you have the midstream and downstream projects, we will have to create new business innovations of upstream giants on supply chain management, midstream companies for technology to come, conversion to happen, and downstream sustainable markets to be developed. Thank you so much.